Oh boy. All right, we've got a bit of a funny one today, at least for me. Joker has become the top box office grossing R-rated movie of all time. It's even beaten out things like Deadpool, The Passion of the Christ, The Matrix. It's insane. Now there are a lot of people unhappy about this, which I don't want to be mean to anybody, but it makes it a little more sweet for me because people were so upset at this movie getting created. People were so upset at Joker getting a solo outing movie. It was going to tear apart the fabric of society. Joker was going to spawn all kinds of violent outrage among people, and here we are. Nothing really happened. I believe there was one altercation at a movie theater over two people just fighting, as in like arguing and like got in a physical altercation, which is something that can happen anywhere. If you live anywhere near a bar, that probably happens at least a couple times a week. So that's about it. That's all we've really had. Now, I don't want to go too political on this topic, but I think it's very clear that none of this hype, none of this, not hype, but anger mattered in the end. If anything, this all boosted the Joker movie sales, and I need to stop calling it the Joker. It is literally just called Joker. This has got to be one of my favorite movies I've seen in the past 5 years at least, as far as new releases. I'm sort of in a middle ground, like a lot of things, I guess. I think there have been a lot of very good movies released in the past decade. I think there's been a lot more crap and filler released in the last decade than I can think of in previous decades, but I still think there's been a lot of good stuff. So I'm not one of the film purists who thinks nothing is good right now. Hollywood is garbage. They're not making anything good. But I do think we're seeing less and less risk with experimental movies. And Joker, luckily, was a risk that paid off. There have been back and forth reports, and every time I bring this up, people get a little upset, at least a small subset of people, about Warner Brothers, as far as the reports that Warner Brothers didn't really want this movie at first to be made, so they then were going to give Todd Phillips a smaller budget and think like, well, maybe, they won't really want to make it on this budget, but at the same time, Phillips didn't need a big budget. He made the movie, and here we are, $852 million, at least as of me recording this. I'm sure it'll be higher tomorrow when this video comes out, and I think it's funny. What is the moral of the story? There really isn't one. I think that outrage, though, if you hate something, unless it is a human rights issue where drawing attention to it will actually bring positive change, intelligent people know that the easiest thing to do when you hate something is to ignore it. It's to just pretend it doesn't exist. I can't guarantee that sales would have been way, way, way down if people had just ignored this movie. But I know that we're at a point, at least in America, where people are tired of being told what to do and what to think and what to believe in by pretty much everybody, no matter where you're coming from. People are just sick of it. They are at the point where they want to think for themselves, they don't want to be treated like they're morons, and they want to be able to form their own opinion and decide what they consume, whether that's in the form of movies, books, video games. They don't want people telling them this thing will make you a worse person or is ruining society, because they know that is a disingenuous argument. It has been used over and over again on art and video games, especially to scapegoat different reports of things like violence or just bad societal behavior and push them into electronics, even though those things have been happening since the beginning of human history. So, if you want something to not gross $850 million next time you're really mad, just pretend it doesn't exist. Honestly. And if you haven't already seen Joker, I highly recommend it. I know I don't talk about movies as much as I want to on this channel. If you are interested in hearing more of my thoughts on movies, I do have a podcast with T. We talk mostly about movies and shows and some about video games as well. That is called Screens and Dreams. There is a playlist over on the channel. In other news, if you haven't seen my previous video, I did launch my Patreon. That's over at patreon.com/degeneratej. I'm going to include it in the description. And I have a link to it up on the channel banner if you just go to my channel page. So if you'd like to support the channel that way, it actually does help me out. I'm still under review for monetization, so I don't make anything from my videos right now, but hopefully in the future I will. But hey, I've enjoyed talking to you. I appreciate all of you and love that you've stuck around and supported me so much in the past couple of weeks. It's meant the world to me. We're still growing. We're at over 1,600 subs now, and you're amazing. Changing my life. Appreciate you. Have a great day.